And we're back. And I can also tell by the numbers, by the way, that a bunch of people did not like Steins Gate. That's fine. Steins Gate isn't for everyone. Mysterious construction. Microwave my Jello banana. No, it's a good show. I'm not sure if I'm clear on it. I don't recommend it. If I were to sum up everything I just said for probably the last 30 minutes, it's a really good show, but I wouldn't recommend it. I've been known sometimes to talk a little too much, some would say. Some would say I don't get to the point sometimes. But I know that they're just jealous and wrong, and I get to the point all the time. All right, they're embarking, and I never traded with them. Good. Fuck me. We still barely have any drinks, and I don't know how we're doing on clothing. Well, you know what helps? If we were to make some. Clothing is still being made, probably at a slow pace, though. We got clothing, we got books. I'm working on my whole. Things are going well. We have room request. Still working on this one weird one. I might just end up rejecting that one. I'm gonna reject that one and refund the points just because I'm not going to get to that in any sensible time frame.
At last, I finished the artifact.
Toulon Melbarath has created Ms. Massos, a granite crown.
I'll name you after my mother.
Don't name it after your mother, that's creepy. Ms. Mazos, Hayes talked, a granite crown. Weighs 2 pounds and is worth 57,600 dwarf bucks. This is a granite crown. All crafts dwarfship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with rectangular granite cabicons and radiant cut levin opals, decorated with ash and encircled with bands of cushioned granite cabicons and iron. The object menaces with spikes of iron, yak bone, giant kakapo bone, and rope reed. Does Dwarf Fortress have inns, or are they classified as something else? Dwarf Fortress does have an inn. An inn is also a tavern, so you need to make a tavern to have an inn. You go under locations, and let's say, oh, this one I can't make one, but I'll show you the tavern. If you look under tavern, they also mention rented rooms. If you assign a bedroom to a location that is a tavern, your tavern is now an inn and rents rooms. The purpose of that, I'm not completely sure. I think that's how you get rooms to guests and monster slayers that you've invited to your base. I don't have enough goblets. Let's make some goblets. Make them all out of obsidian and we should be good to go. That is the only thing making the noise still. All right, we haven't hit a season yet. I want to know if we're planning the KV Tavern for the next forest. Now, fair warning. Proper tavern, like I guess for the next base, if that's a thing that you guys want, I could do it. But I tend to just purposely exclude foreigners from my bases. Because every time I don't, they tend to have a weird glitch where they attack me for no reason. Like they're always unabashedly traitors. Every single time we're like, oh, yeah, I know we were all working for you, but we've decided we're gonna kill you now. So I tend to just not allow foreigners into my bases, which means I never have much use for an inn. Because I just don't, so that those rooms never get used usually. So that got trimmed back, but this didn't, and that's mostly because I can't because of that water. So that is as trimmed as that is ever going to get. That is the way they come in. They go through this path, they go down, they come up, they come up, they go up. That seems fine to me. This is a path up here. I'm not sure I want to keep it, but it's not like I could do much else anyways because of the natural ramping system on the left hates me. How do I make that be the entrance? Well, ignoring that as the entrance, I'm gonna have to wait till ice time to connect that to the internal base, which will need to be done on that level and on this level. I should have messed with the Go XLR now. Every now and then, I swear I'm sounding robotic. I don't know if it's a connection to my mic or what. Not my mic, the connection to the thing that broadcasts to the headphones. It sounds chopped, sawtooth. But now that we have ranted for aeons and aeons for one of the KV statues in Set Tower to be gold, would it be counted as a high quality room? So for the next base, let me make this clear. What's going to happen is after this upcoming week, I'll finally be out of school. But for this upcoming week, I'm not really doing much for this. But after this upcoming week, where I will be able to start going more into doing this, where I'll be making videos for YouTube again on the regular, and I'll be streaming again on the regular. What's going to happen is at some point during that time, I'm going to revamp the room request system. So what's going to happen is the furniture is going to be put to a secondary request. It's not going to be part of a medium room or a high room. That was like the rough draft first thing I put in. That's not like, we're going to refine the system a little bit. What's going to happen is, what I'll do is, I'll have one that'll be per base. I'll be like, all right, you choose what the tavern is. You choose what this is. And then I'll have a second request that'll probably be 3 times as expensive, and it says the base has a second tavern. The base has a second library. The base has a second temple, and temples may go up as high as 3 or 4. For all the base rooms, they'll be like low, and then some of them will have higher tiers of requests. After that, there'll be a thing where you can request like, oh, I want this one to have this type of statue in it. Where I'll have one where you can place in statues in it, and then I'll put in costs for if you wish to swap out statues. So it should be far higher, because at that point you're countering someone else's wish to have had certain statues in there to begin with, so on and so forth. These are some ideas I've had in my head. Like I said, it's just going to take me a bit to do the math and to boil out what sounds fair and fun. And then also, as a secondary thing, I'm going to have to fix the script that lets everyone do Russian roulette and blow their brains out in chat. Maths. Quick maths. Hello, retired Navy vet. Retired Navy vet, do you watch videos by Angry Cops or any vet on YouTube? Let me rephrase that. Do you watch videos where either current or ex-military members get angry about people misunderstanding or incorrectly talking about current military, current or old military ideas? Yes, that was kind of the idea. Because right now people are already trying to do furniture in random areas of the fort, but they keep requesting rooms to do it in. And some of the rooms that I have are like limited to a certain amount of rooms per stream. So they're taking up a incorrect, we'll say, request slot to do furniture, which probably really shouldn't be the request they did occasionally. So there was one recently by Angry Cops where I thought this was funny. There was a gentleman who was in the Air Force who wrote an article for some... Well, we started to get music back and now we don't. Hold on.
The forgotten beast Sanine has come. A great blob composed of vomit. It has an enormous shell and it has a bloated body. Beware its webs.
Didn't we have this guy already? I feel like this dude just bops around in our caverns. We had him. We had the vomit snot ball before. That's not a caverns I'm really in, so I don't care. Like you can see how he killed them last time and the webs that he shot. I'm ignoring that since we already had that monster. As I was saying, there was a gentleman in the Air Force who had written a story for a civilian publication, basically saying that all the elite forces and all the military are not elite and you shouldn't call them that, and they're just regular dudes. So the Navy SEALs, Nah. They don't try. They don't try hard. The Rangers, Air Assault, the Sappers, all the Special Forces. Literally, they're all just. They're not elite troops. That one got me. I was like, what the fuck is this asshole talking about? They definitely don't have to try any harder than anyone else. That one, I remembered the video as soon as I read your name. Well, what are elite troops? Well, I couldn't even keep a straight face. Well, what are you talking about? Because all they do the same things as others. You know, they're supported by non-elite troops. You know, they have regular supply people at some point in the supply chain that get them their bullets and stuff. You know, elite troops need to be supported. So they're not elite. It was really stupid. It was really stupid. It made me giggle. The best part of it, though, was that it was an Air Force dude arguing against Navy and Army Special Forces. It was an Air Force dude saying that Army and Navy Special Forces aren't that good. I was like, are you jealous or something? Like, what are you talking about? It's really weird. I'm not surprised those who've not served don't really understand. But that's the thing. Supposedly he had served just in the Air Force. I think he was just jealous he was in the wrong branch. This is like the second or third time I've heard of an article written by an Air Force dude saying that it's like, oh, the Army and the Navy and the Marines aren't really the tough. The Air Force guys are the tough ones. And they appear to be getting a bit jealous because they're not known as the strong ones. That seems to be like a surge of things happening recently. And for anyone who's not part of this, who's like, what the fuck are they all talking about? I'm not saying like, oh, the Air Force is weak, like as a completely detrimental thing. But the Air Force is like, they are literally the military's version of the book nerds. They're the Air Force. They plan out strikes on airplanes. They go do the strikes. They sit, like, for the majority of their shit, they sit at airfields. You get, like, for most everything they do, they get the highest budget. They get the nicest dining facilities. It's the Air Force. It's for the geeky book nerds. And they're all getting angry that they're not known as, like, the weightlifters of the military. Oh, no shit. If you wanted to do that, you should have joined the Army, jackasses. Generally speaking, of course, Air Force has elite troops, but really Air Force. I heard people call them the Chair Force. Yeah, that is the in-military joke for it, that they're the Chair Force. It's one of the reasons why... Oh, the main music has started up finally. It's one of the reasons why, while technically, as a 14 Echo Patriot Enhanced Operator, I counted, and I count, as a Combat Arms MOS. I do, and my deployment counts as a combat deployment. I do not, in any way, shape, or form, harbor the smallest inkling that I could go to either the other two MOSs, Infantry or Cav Scout, or the Marines, and be like, oh yeah, I've been in the thick of it. I too was a combat MOS. You know why I don't pretend like I was, even though the military counts as a combat MOS? Because I was always stationed on Air Force bases. Because Patriot shoots missiles at incoming missiles. And what is the most not moving thing in the entire military? An airfield. So where do they put the anti-missile systems? The airfield. So I had military chain of commands and shit like that, but I still got to eat at an Air Force dining facility. I have occasionally eaten at Army dining facilities. And let me tell you something, the Air Force is far nicer. I know how much better my job was whenever I was on an Air Force base compared to when I was on an Army base. So I know how fucking regular Army people are, Army people are, compared to when they're actually like in the fucking thick of it. You get what I'm saying? Like if this is what they view as their high point and that's the low point for my shit, they're in some deep shit. I do not consider myself to be to that degree. It's just not happening. But there are people in the Air Force who seem to harbor this idea that they are. Even with my privileged status of being able to be on an Air Force, all it really meant for most anything else is that I got to see how they really get to operate. And they don't. They just do whatever the fuck they want. They really do. It was stupid. Air Force dining is quite good. Oh no, that shit was fucking fantastic. That shit was fucking fantastic. Air Force dining got me to re-enlist when I was in Japan.
Okay, I'm good. I'll stop.
Army dining in Fort Sill is one of the reasons why I did not re-enlist. Once I got to see what my dining facility was supposed to be, once I got to see what a fucking pleb I was, fuck no. I ain't doing this again. Screw you guys. Really, if the rest of the Army was like my time in Okinawa, Japan, I would have been far happier. I'd have been far happier, and you wouldn't see me right now because I'd probably still be in the military. If the rest of my military career was like it was when I was in Japan, I would still be in the military. That shit was amazing. Oklahoma sucks. Yeah, no, there's an increasing amount of Air Force people who, when you make the joke, well, you're weak, but you're dumb, grossly reducing the arguments that happen between the branches. Instead of doing the argument of, ha ha ha, you're Air Force, you're weak, and then the Air Force goes, ha 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 ha, you're not Air Force, you're dumb. Now the Air Force are trying to retaliate with, ha 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 ha, we're stronger than you. You know you have to back that up, right? The Air Force's physical fitness test is a math exam. I'm exaggerating, but not by much. The Army physical fitness test, and ours isn't even as strong as the Marines, and I think perhaps the Navy's is also stronger. I don't know what, ours might beat the Navy, but not the Marine. I forget how the fucking system goes. I'm not gonna get into a competition with the other three branches. Point is, ours is stronger. Would require more than the Air Force's. For instance, we have to run certain distance we have to run 2 miles and we'll say 18 minutes. I think the bare minimum to pass, no, that's way too long. I think the bare minimum to pass is 16 minutes, 36 seconds. If you are a teenager, 16 minutes, 36 seconds to run 2 miles is the bare minimum to pass. The Air Force also has 16 minutes and 36 seconds to do theirs, but they only have to go 1.5 miles. To sum up what I'm saying on the physical part of this, they kind of do the same things, but it's not really the same when you think about it. Same amount of time for 3/4 the distance. However, if I'm in the Army and I barely pass all 3 of my events, I pass. My leadership will not think I'm good. They'll think I'm a barely passing shitbag, but I will pass. If you were in the Air Force and you barely pass all of their events, you have failed. Barely passing an individual event still doesn't give you enough points as an aggregate to pass their physical fitness test. So as you do theirs, you actually have to do math, because if you barely pass the first 2, by how much over the minimum do you need to pass the third one to still pass? And I think that kind of sums it up. On the whole, their minimums are easier than our minimums. However, they can't pass if they only do their minimums. they have to figure out what mix of their physical test they have to try more than the bare minimum to actually pass. And if that mindset doesn't sum up the difference between the physical branches and the Air Force, I don't know what will. We had to run some miles for a certain time. Yep. Could I have a tomb built for Dragoman with a statue? The statue would be Dragoman and KVs. Dragoman is still alive. I want to request this before I forgot. Yep, I can do this. All right, first thing I need to do is I need to build you a coffin. We will make you an obsidian coffin. I need the coffin to make the room. I think 1.5 miles, less than 15 minutes. Like I said, it was different for your ages. And even if it was, it's a better scale than what it is in the Army. Now, like I said, I think the Marines have it worse. The Marines have weird ones. The Marines have to do pull-ups. The Army doesn't. The Army, I think they're changing it now, so I don't know what it is now. But the Army was just push-ups, how many push-ups you could do in 2 minutes, how many steps you could do in 2 minutes, and how long it took you to run 2 miles. They liked the number 2. The Marines, I think, have like pull-ups, some weird turbo squat thing. I don't know. The Marines have got a weird one. I don't even know what the Navy does. But do the Air Force guys know the difference between a plant and a tree? Yes. Yes, they do. And again, going the other way, because I'm not claiming the Army is smart. The Army is not the smart branch. Because there were dudes in the Army that legit said, trees aren't plants. Trees are what the deer hide behind. So... Not saying the Army is better than the Air Force, but they are known for 2 different things. But I don't know why. There's been like 2 or 3 videos that I've seen, I want to say the past 2 months, that have been some dude who is either currently or ex-Air Force making some bold claim about like their superiority and strength over the other branches. Even if it's not an Air Force Army competition, like, okay, fine. You want to say what is or is not harder to the Army? Okay, but you're going to try to compete against the Marines? You're going to really? Okay. You want to, you weirdo. I don't know. They've been doing weird shit recently. What? That makes sense. All branches need to add pull-ups. They'll separate men from the boys for sure. I think the branches are all actually getting rid of pull-ups because of inclusion of the females. Like, I think the Marines had pull-ups, but then they lowered the requirement for the females. And don't quote me on this, but I think there is a rumor of them removing it entirely. Again, because of female additions. Because they need to be held to a standard. The Army just put in lower standards for the females. I don't remember what the hell the Marines are doing. I am full on hippie. I think the Army is the greatest failure of mankind. Building people to kill is just effing wrong unless we are fighting aliens. Probably wrong place to say that. I just thought we're all talking about the Army. Pull-ups are easy, but I can't do 1 push-up. That one's actually kind of weird. And Righteous Boner, you're not completely wrong. How do I say this? The image of the Army that is put out by both the Army and media matches up with what you're saying. In that regard, you are not wrong. That would be the greatest failure of the Army. It would be the greatest failure of modern civilization. However, oddly enough, on the most part, that's not even what the Army is. Essentially, what the Army tries to sell, what the Marines try to sell, and what the media sells for media, like movies, Hollywood and shit like that, is they're basically always focusing on infantry. The guys whose job it is to go up into the enemy and kill them. That is such a small aspect of the military. It's kind of funny. It is such a small aspect of the military, and yet that is like the thing that is covered the most. Like the most. Like I said, I was Patriot. Mine, you could still count it as a bad, but it was purely defensive in nature. If an enemy shot a missile at something we wanted to defend, I shot it down. I was essentially a wall. I didn't go around. That's what I'm saying. I didn't go around kicking in doors. I was not a door kicker. One of the reasons why I never try to pretend to any other combat MOS that BT dubs don't forget I'm a combat MOS. a lot of the military is also medical. We got to be able to defend the troops to get into where people are getting shot at, to take care of the people on the field, to get them back to a hospital to take care of them. If there is a country having a revolt and kids are stuck in the middle, how are you going to save the kids? We have a rather large medical system. We like there are things so much more than just the infantry. On that point, you are wrong. I don't really even see the idea of like harboring it as a thing of debate. You're wrong. However, the part that the military sells and what Hollywood always shows is 100% exactly your opinion of the military. And that is, in fact, that if that was all military was, that would be complete shit. There's no reason for that. But like I said, I only had 2 examples, but those aren't the only 2 examples, just the 2 that come off the top of my head. That's not what the military is. It's just for some reason what the military brags about. Navy jocks. Navy docs check for STDs. I don't even think they do that. From what I understand, as soon as you come back from shore leave, as you get on the boat, they just give you shots filled with antibiotics. I don't know if they still do that, but I've definitely heard stories of people that if you want back on the boat, you're gonna get a shot filled with a shit ton of antibiotics. They don't want to know what you did, and they don't want to waste the time of you going to medical later to explain what you did while you were on shore. We're just gonna give everyone shots of antibiotics. It was like, was it Brazil? I forget which country. I think it was a South American country. Recently, there was a Brazilian Navy boat who tried to resort to piracy, and they rammed a cruise liner, trying to get it to like, hey, stop. You have to come into our port. We're basically kidnapping the boat. You come into our country and you kidnap our port. Had this been a regular ship, it would have been on the news a lot, because Brazil would have just committed piracy and kidnapped a ship and personnel that did not belong to them with no reason for doing so. And I still don't think they have any claimed reason for why they did this. The reason why it hasn't popped up, you don't hear everyone up in arms, is they rammed a science vessel that was designed to go to the Antarctic and break ice, and it had hull reinforcements to be able to withstand the compression of ice freezing against it. So the South American naval ship rammed the boat, and it crashed and sunk. And they lost a boat. They lost a warship to a civilian vessel. So nothing really happened. All the major governments just looked at Brazil and were like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You morons. I don't know if it was Brazil. I think it was Brazil, but it might have been some other country. But yeah, it wasn't in the news really, because it wasn't leading to anything. They crashed the ship and sunk. It's a civilian ship, and they lost a naval warship. Fucking morons. But for things like that, like if it's for a defensive nature, for civilians, what have you, if you want to say national interest, so on and so forth, then there is reasons for it, for protection of life versus people who would not care about the protection of life. Sometimes the civilian targeted is capable of defending themselves, and the military is not required. Good on you. Yeah, they lost the ship though. Either it sunk or they severely damaged it and it's still in port trying to be repaired because their ship like crunched. Like I think it was Brazil. I really do. don't think maybe it was Venezuela then. Maybe, like I said, maybe they didn't sink. I remember that there was something like their ship was severely damaged. If it's having to go to port because it's taking on water, then it's sinking, but it hasn't sunk. I don't know I clearly don't remember the story exactly. Either way, the boat was not capable of continued naval travel after the fact. Destabilizing a region is the CIA's job. I'm not going to disagree, but for this conversation, that's not the military. That's not the military. That's the CIA. But yeah, I think that kind of just is their job, isn't it? What do they do? Like, I'm trying to think of a not evil sounding definition of the CIA. Because even if it's with the best of intents, everything they do just sounds evil, even if it's not. It did sink. Okay. What about the Space Force? I don't even know what the Space Force is going to be. If anybody has watched Stargate, will tell you, you don't need a Space Force, you just need the Air Force. The Air Force has it handled. Let the Air Force do space. Adding in another chain of command is kind of weird. However, comma, ellipses, parentheses, bracket, squiggly bracket. If a Space Force is created, and it is created correctly, it could very well be one of the strongest branches the United States military has. And it's because of legalese loopholes. The Marines are a branch of the military. Ish. The Marines aren't a wholly separate entity. The Marines are a subset of the Navy. But whenever you see them in combat, it's just the Marines. The Marines are the Navy's army. They're the naval people that also do fighting, that do like gun fighting. There's not, as far as I know, there's not a Marine medic. There are naval medics. Marines are there for fighting. Because of that, they're sometimes jokingly referred to as the President's Army. A lot of times, if there's something that needs to be done in the country, the Marines will go in first. That's because the president does not need to seek congressional approval to send the Marines somewhere. Even if he sent all of the Marines, it's not even a full department or whatever within the Department of Defense. So they're free game. That's a subset of the Navy with the way they're made. Like I said, some weird legalese loophole. If the Space Force is created using similar terminology and no one's paying attention to the Marines, but underneath, say, the Air Force, then what you will then have is essentially an Air Force equivalent of the Marines who don't need to go through United States congressional approval for use. Navy equals taxi, Marines equal fare. Yeah. So using that as the example, if the Space Force is created underneath the auspice of the Air Force, then technically, with whatever legalese is beyond my scope of understanding, then technically it might be possible for it to be created in such a way that the president could do whatever he wanted with it without needing congressional approval, which would make it the strongest one, because the Marines are strong, but they're still limited by the nature. They're grounded troops. If you have someone doing cybernetics and fucking warfare in space that doesn't need oversight, then that also means that it has sudden strike capability. It could just be there. It could do the thing. It's basically like the GDI equivalent from Command and Conquer. It's the ion cannon. That would be the Space Force. Like maybe, I don't know. That could be a thing. Would you watch it on stream? I think if this is what isn't this the fake commercial one? I think I've seen this.
There is a tantrum happening.
Course, which Mark will run.
What?
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I might watch that show. That sounds pretty good. Gorkeem, do you exist? See, I need to reword those. This is for those of you what I was talking about earlier. Gorkeem, if you don't exist, I need you to type in something first, and then I can do that. Gorkeem, I need you to go ahead and type in !DWARF or !DORF. You need a dwarf for me to assign the dwarf to a job, but I can make you be a spear dwarf, no problem. Yeah, I would watch that. I don't think I can watch it on stream though. Like, I don't think you're allowed to stream that on Twitch. Are you? You got a 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Remember when we had a time, everybody, where I hardly had anyone without a nickname and then they all died and now we've had to replace them? 0598. And I'll also read out your description in a second, Gorkeem. First of all, profession. Gorkeem, you are currently an animal caretaker, but we don't care about that. You are a spear dwarf. Put you in the military under the Earth and Lone Triangles. Gorkeem the spear dwarf, and we will go over to your equipment. Somehow you're already assigned a steel battle axe, even though I just put you in the military? Oh, that was probably for the slot. The slot was still locked to that. Okay, we're gonna get rid of that. Do I have a spear for you? I do have a steel spear that I can grab. There you go. Everything else will fill into place. Gorkeem, you are now a spear dwarf wielding a steel spear. Doom, doom, doom. Gorkeem. First of all, Gorkeem, you pray to Gacket, who most often takes the form of a female dwarf associated with treachery and lies. I definitely am happy with the fact that they gave you a spear. You're not gonna be the first one to stab me in the back. It's best to just slow down and relax. Why are you even running? You're just going to die tired, says Gorkeem. Gorkeem is almost never sick, but is clumsy and very slow to heal. Gorkeem likes marble, trifle pewter, cinnamon grossular, pigtail paper, the color sandy taupe, gems, donkeys for their stubbornness, guppies for their coloration, and the sound of the plays of style. When possible, Gorkeem prefers to consume one-humped camel cheese, prickleberries, and blackberry wine. Gorkeem detests moon snails. Gorkeem has great intuition, a lot of willpower, very good focus, a sharp intellect, and a sum of patience and good creativity. But she has an iffy memory, a little difficulty with words, and poor spatial sense. She dreams of mastering a skill someday. Do we have a guy having a mood right now? Or did that solve itself? I feel like that solved itself. Alright, back to our underground thingy. So that does go out fine and dandy. This is the room to go down there, to have the thing. This is if I wish to drain the water. I'll bring this to the edge and I'll make the entire back wall be, I will make the entire back wall be fortifications, every Z level, all the way down. That should fix it. It's fun. This stream and that game, wait, what? It's fun. Guessing the happy faces like the stream and that game you are playing, and thank you. Yes, good. So for any of the new viewers, how are you guys doing? And then the side thing for the Tachulu. My one issue with that Tachulu is I don't want to get copyright striked. Remember, as of right now, I'm trying to get this stuff on YouTube. That is my big worry with doing a bunch of those things. And if it's like a major news ad thing or trailer, I feel like the audio would get picked up. It might not. I may be just being paranoid, but I do not wish to risk it right now when I do not have the time nor the energy to be trying to scrub that for the YouTube archive recording. Yeah, no, I definitely learned. I learned after the song request situation that YouTube has a very, very stupid sound recognition system. And YouTube should fix that. YouTube will tell you that you have 3 copyright strikes, and one of them means your show cannot play. I don't care about the ones that demonetize that video, but I do care about the one that says it can't play in certain regions. So I think to myself, I will clear out the one that says this can't play in certain regions, and then we'll be good. So I clear out the one, then I re-upload it, waiting the hours for it to upload and render without that one little sound bit in the background. Upload it to YouTube, and YouTube now says that there are 5 copyrighted songs on that video, 2 of which says it cannot play in a certain region. Why did they not show up before? I don't know. Do they show up in the original video that's still uploaded? No, they don't. So I go back through and I scrub out those 2 new songs that don't allow it in certain regions. Then I sit there, wait for it to render, re-upload it to YouTube. All right, we're good to go. YouTube says it's good, I think. I go to sleep, I wake up, YouTube says in the middle of the night, it decided that there was in fact 3 more songs that had a particular copyrightable material that means that it cannot play in certain countries. That is why I've kind of half given up for now on the song requests and other music in the background, is because YouTube is so fucking bad at telling me what I'm not allowed to have. I thought it would be easy to just scrub out whatever YouTube says was bad. I did not plan on the fact that YouTube does not know. Oh good, I don't have a clothier shop. Fantastic, I didn't want that. You don't appear to be going anywhere. Do you hate me, good sir? You have claimed a cloth and logs. Cloth, logs, more logs, bones? It's always bones. Bones and cut gems. Tanned hides, they always want bones. Well, I don't think I want to do the grizzle bear. Why do I have so many cows? We will butcher a cow. They are already ready for slaughter. Then why have we not slaughtered them? I should have 2 survivalists. One of which is a butcher who has no job and thus should be perfectly capable of butchering. I'm going to say the butcher shop has been destroyed. That explains things. When did you get destroyed, little buddy? We'll do that. The butchering will commence. We'll be fine. I don't know if you record or not, but I have to watch a replay because it's 5 a.m., which is almost morning. So see you later. If it's against the rules, feel free to remove me on name list.
I just can't.
What? Want to be in your fortress. I don't know if you record or not. I do record separate from the recording archive thing on Twitch, and the recordings have higher quality audio streams because Twitch doesn't do the full audio stream. So I stream at 160 bits, one audio stream. I record everything separately at 320 bits each. I have 5 audio streams going at one time. That's how I'm able to balance it out better for the YouTube archives. So at some point it goes on the YouTube archives. They just haven't in a bit because it's been the end of the semester. So I have a couple of weekends of archives to get onto YouTube. Another reason why right after school ends, it's going to be a bit slow as things get onto YouTube. See you later. If it's against the rules, I don't know about the against the rules thing. Feel free to remove me on the name list. I don't know what that means, but you're fine. No, not you, watching Netflix trailers. The Cyclops may have destroyed that butcher shop. Cyclops never got inside the base. Cyclops died outside the base like in a second. It was depressing how fast our doctor killed that Cyclops. It's against the rules to go away from the stream, which I mean, no. Wait, if you're saying you're gonna leave it on and be lurking, then you're lurking. That's fine. That's just what people do. Now we have a slight issue in that we may be ending early today. It's not gonna be right now. We may end up throwing a raid over to Cupo's way, but it is 10:30, And we're coming up in 15 minutes at the end of this hour, this hour recording for YouTube. If I were to do another hour after that, that would bring us to 11:45. I have no clue how I ended up ahead of time an hour. I think I'm behind time by 45 minutes. Either way, tomorrow is Mother's Day, which means I must be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the morning because I'm going over to family to celebrate the Mother's Day. So I will not be able to go to midnight. So in about 15 minutes, when I hit the end of this hour chunk recording, that is when I'm going to end it. So slightly bad news in that regard. So I don't even know if you're still here, Gorkim, but if you're having to lurk, you're not going to be lurking for long. Since a lot of you guys, I do Dwarf Fortress to midnight, if Cupo is still on in an hour, we will raid him. He doesn't use tile sets, fair warning, but he does use like the DF hack commands to make like nice flower bits and stuff. So it's one of those streams where you just kind of relax and just like groove to what you're looking at. Mind about the tomb with the statue. Thank you. I built the tomb, but I forgot what I was doing. By the way, with that being said, I'm going to stop requests. Dwarf Fortress pet should never be an allowed request. I don't know why I keep allowing that. All right, medium quality room was your tomb. You're right, I did forget about the tomb. Oh, I can't. Yeah, that'll work. Oh, goody. An animal has grown to become a donkey. Now, where's my clothier, dude? Have you grabbed more things? I don't even know where this person was to begin with. Who is my clothier and where is he grabbing things? Is this my clothier's? Butcher shop got suspended, because of course it did.
Sir, you can't do that there.
Why is there an item blocking the site? Get the item out of there. Why do I not remember where my own clothier is? He's in here. There he is. You got your logs. You don't have bones because we don't have a butcher's. Build workshop butchers. I'll build it up here if I have to. I just need this. I'm going to die without it. Now, our drainage room. We will channel down again. Merchants have arrived and are unloading their goods. And the other thing I have is this the only request I have left? Yeah, this is my last request. Now build that coffin. We'll build in the back here. We'll give him a higher quality coffin. Dragoman, the statue will be Dragoman and Cavies. Dragoman and Cavies. Statue, details, image, historical figure. Dragoman. Oh, why did that not work? Specify image, historical figure, filter, Dragoman. Use this option. Why does that kick me all the way out to this screen? Image. New image. Creature. Cavies. Number of cavies. And now a historical figure named Dragoman. Of cavies and Dragoman. Statue would be Dragoman and cavies. All right, image of cavies and Dragoman. Is Dragoman being flayed by the cavies? Dragoman is embracing the cavies. There we go. Image of cavies and Dragoman. Dragoman is embracing the cavies. Called the Bodices of Jade. Yeah, that's not a creepy name. We'll stick with that. All right, that'll get built. You have struck cat's eye. Did I strike the cat's eye? I'm so sorry, kitty. I didn't mean to strike your cat's eye. I don't know why I did it. All right, he began his mysterious construction because we got him the bones for doing a slaughter. So he's not crazy and we're good. All right. Let him smooth and build the wall. Have you built the statue? He has built the statue as far as I'm able to guess. Build statue right by the coffin. I'm gonna guess it's this one. Eldritch is stumbling around obliviously. Good. Good. I would be really worried that someone wasn't slowly, you know, sinking into a pit of despair. This one would be for Dragoman. Dragoman's tomb. And we're just waiting on the statue. I might need to do some engravings to make it be medium quality. It needs to at least say decent.
An artifact has been completed.
A frilly rope reed shoe. Fantastic. This is Haunt Spine, a frilly rope reed shoe. Weighs less than 1 pound and is worth 38,720 dwarf bucks. This is a frilly rope reed shoe. All craftsdwarfship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with rectangular camber-like cavicons, and it is made from rope reed cloth. The object is adorned with hanging rings of wax opal and menaces with spikes of rope reed, plumwood, and silver. On the item is an image of a feather tree and donkey bone. On the item is an image of hard wheat and cheetah leather. On the item is an image of 2 apple trees and green glass. This is a rope reed shoe, ostensibly made of much harder shit. All right, waiting on the statue. How is the moot going? The moat? I think it's going well. I've been trying to get the drainage system installed. So every Z level going down, I don't think it would ever pressure, but for view's sake, for every Z level going down, I have been removing, I've been creating fortifications. So we have a multiple Z level drainage hole just to make sure if for some chance there was water and I had no control over it, it could drain. Just waiting on one dude with a statue. Wherever, oh wait, was that him? There he is. Harold Beaver is bringing the statue. All right. So to confirm on this, stop it. Granite statue of cavies. This is exceptional granite statue of cavies. This item is a rendition of the bodices of jade, an image of cavies and Dragoman the dwarf. Dragoman is embracing the cavies. The image was commissioned by the Channels of Speaking, a local dwarven government. Now we need to see if the quality of the room is high enough for Dragoman. It says tomb. I don't know what the tomb names are. Is that not good enough? We'll engrave a little bit in it. Let's see if we can't get the worth up. And Like I said, we're just waiting to see how this engraving goes. This will be the last request for the evening. Let's see what we got for Dragoman. Now it's a mausoleum, which I think is basically the equivalent of decent. I don't know how the tombs work, but it's definitely not just a regular old tomb anymore. So you have a mausoleum now, which means I'm going to... We're under 4. I'm going to trigger to save, and I'm going to thank those who watch on YouTube after the fact. Thank you all so much for watching. Catch you guys next weekend.